You're really stupid if you're using something like this, a pressure gauge, as a substitute for practice. I'm Kurt Thompson, and I've done a video or two with me doing some demonstration on the pressure gauge that you can get. Now you can pick this up at Home Depot or Lowe's. You can pick it up at a number of different hardware stores, maybe even Michael's or Hobby Lobby. You can pick it up anywhere online, and the prices range from $5 up to maybe $15 or $20. And that would include the little tube. You get a little tube like this, very easy. That's probably 50 cents or $1. So, if you really wanted to get one of these and try it out, you could get it for very, very cheap. Just do it yourself. See, got my mouthpiece attached to it. Very easy. Now, when I've done the demonstration with this pressure gauge meter, it was just simply to kind of document what kind of pressure I was exerting into it. What kind of pressure can I actually get going? And I think the last time that I did it, it was maybe around 4. I believe it was close to 4, because what I've discovered is you can't push this past 4. So I believe maybe I could get 4.5 PSI on this if I really wanted to. Now this is a real legit pressure gauge. It's not been altered. So now that's just for demonstration, not for any kind of practice regimen. But if you have been duped or talked into getting a device like this. Now, a couple of people asked me if I would teach them how to do the pressure gauge I did. I said, I don't teach that. Come on. This is fraught with all kinds of dangers for any brass player. And here's one thing I will promise and guarantee to anybody who's messing around with this. You will not gain range, you will not get stronger, you will not build up your endurance. In fact, I promise you will get worse. Your tone will get worse, your range will get down, your chops will get stiff. Now that's the good news. The bad news is if you're over 30, like I am, it just may screw with something in your head as far as pressure. You may develop migraine headaches that don't go away. You may burst a blood vessel somewhere that could be fatal or even serious. You may raise your blood pressure. Every time you do something like this, you could jack your blood pressure up to 180, up to 200, up to 220. And for some folks over 30, like this guy, it may be dangerous. You could cause yourself a stroke. You could induce a heart attack. There's just a number of really bad, serious consequences for doing this on a regular basis. I think the last time that I did this, I actually did it for you guys. Now I have to look at the date on the video, but I'm sure it's been a couple of months just to document what kind of pressure I have coming out of my system. So again, you're kind of playing with fire here with your health, but certainly your trumpet playing. Again, my promise to you is if you have been duped into spending 30 or 40 or 50 or 80 or even $100 on some ridiculous contraption like this, and in a minute I'm going to talk about what I found from students. But if you've been duped, you need to get your money back or just take a loss. Don't do it. You could do it just to check your pressure maybe every couple of months if you really wanted to. But then again, why do you need to pay somebody? And in a minute we're going to talk about that somebody, although I won't mention names. Why do you need to pay some idiot 10 times the cost of what you could buy this for yourself? Why? So it's been brought to my attention that there is a trumpet player out in the community who shall not be named. This person does not deserve to be named on my channel, nor does the particular name of his device. So it's my understanding that he ran a Kickstarter campaign and raised 10 grand to get this developed. You want to know how stupid it is to spend a lot of money on getting something like this developed for a trumpet practice aid? I'll show you. I use a hot water bottle as a technique in my 16-week upper register course. Having a pressure gauge and trying to register or trademark it as some kind of practice device would be like me trying to spend thousands of dollars registering a hot water bottle as a practice aid technique that I use in my course. It would be totally and absolutely and 100% stupid, folks. A pressure gauge has already existed for probably more than a century. It already has its trademarks and patents, and you're not going to change that. I'm not going to change the patent or whatever design is on this hot water bottle. It has been in the market for fair use for a long time. Another example is I have a wooden spoon that's also used in my 16-week upper register course. Now for me, I've added weights to it, some tungsten weights to make it even heavier. It would be ridiculous for me to take a typical kitchen wooden spoon and run a Kickstarter campaign and have people give me money so I could pay lawyers for some freaking trademark design on a wooden spoon. I mean, is that stupid? Yes, it is. Yet, a lot of you must be stupid because a lot of you donated money to a Kickstarter campaign to have some idiot and imbecile knucklehead take a pressure gauge, attach a tube to it, and call it some type of special practice device. And that idiot knucklehead raised close to $10,000 and duped all of you. Now, worse than that is that you are not going to be able to get what the claim is by using this device. You've been duped. I did some further checking and I found out an old nemesis, an old person who barely even comes on YouTube anymore. And this individual is behind this Kickstarter campaign. He's behind this ridiculous pressure gauge trumpet practice day that's going to give everybody amazing chops. It's just, I wasn't really surprised when I saw it. If you find out who this individual is, and he will not be named here on this channel, if you find out who it is, check out his playing. He has no professional recordings. He has no professional music videos. He's not even, based on my understanding, a credentialed teacher. Do you all know that I'm a credentialed band director? I have that music ed degree. I've taught band, I've taught school. I don't rely on that anymore, but I still have it in my back pocket should I want it. This individual doesn't even have that. He has no business trying to take something crazy like a pressure gauge and fashion it into some kind of practice device. This pressure gauge is stupid. And after you watch this video, if you continue with it, you are stupid. You're going to find that your range goes down. You're going to find that you have headaches. And if you're older than 30, you're like pushing 40 like me, you're going to find that it could be dangerous. You could jack up your blood pressure. You could have a fatal aneurysm in your brain. I mean, it's just, or you could get a stroke. It's just nonsense, it's foolish, and it's dangerous. Check out this individual's playing and channels. It's just nonsense and a silly type of playing. The one thing I noticed about it when I checked it out is that the guy can never hold out a note. So if you want to use this ridiculous pressure gauge and end up sounding like him, it comes out sounding something like this. I'll do one more and see if you get it. Are you getting it? Listen now, this individual doesn't sound as good as what you just hear me doing. It sounds horrible. But the one thing that this person never does is this. What did I just do? I held out a high note. I held out a high note. This individual is constantly ripping up and he holds it for a half second and it sounds god awful. He can never hold out a high note. Let's listen to it again. He can never hold out a high note. It's ridiculous. If you want to have that kind of crappy style of playing and the weakness and the horridness of how this individual plays, then you get yourself a pressure gauge and be stupid. This is Kurt Thompson, trumpet player, TRUMPETSIZZLE.com, and you just watched my video on being stupid if you use a pressure gauge on a regular basis as a substitute for your practice to gain range, upper register, and high notes on trumpet. I'll see you in the next one. Don't be stupid.